Excited to start another week here on Locked On Blue Devils. And here today on Monday, September 26th, the Duke men's basketball team officially starts practice for the upcoming basketball season. We've got a lot to talk about. We got to talk recruiting. And our guy, Jason Jordan, is back with us here on this Monday. Let's get to it.
Vital. Hey, make sure you listen, man, to Locked On Blue Devils with J.J. Jackson. He's awesome, baby.
You are Locked On Blue Devils, your daily podcast on the Duke Blue Devils, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Locked On Blue Devils podcast. My name is JJ Jackson. So glad to have you here with us on this Monday. Today is September 26, 2022, and the Duke men's basketball team officially starts practice here today to get this upcoming college basketball season off and rolling. If you haven't done so already, follow Locked On Blue Devils on Twitter at @LO_Blue Devils. Follow me on Twitter @_JJ_Jackson_. Today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils is brought to you by LinkedIn. They're the official college basketball and college football recruiting sponsor across the Locked On College Network. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege. Terms and conditions apply. What we're going to do on today's show, very excited to welcome back in our good buddy Jason Jordan, the Director of College Basketball Recruiting for Sports Illustrated, as we get set for another awesome conversation. Jason Jordan here with us now. And Jason, all of a sudden, each and every week, we find ourselves getting closer to the start of the college basketball season. Hope you're doing well, and thanks again for the time.
Definitely, man. Definitely good times. Like you said, first day of practice today. So, it's pretty much here now. We're in it.
I'm always so curious now that practice starts, the season's off and rolling. We've seen a lot of momentum over the last few weeks with the class of 2024 commits. Obviously, the Duke class has 5 commits in 2023. Now the balance comes back in because not only do these coaches have to prepare the current team for what's to come in this upcoming season, they've still got to balance a little bit of recruiting. Kind of break that down for us. What all is going to go into this for John Shire and his staff? First year, they're on the floor trying to coach and develop players, but now they've also got to factor in the recruiting side of things.
Well, like you said, it's a balancing act, and they've been a part of this forever, right? So it's just a different seat that he's sitting in, so he'll have to delegate more. But knowing John, he'll still be on the phones, working the phones, getting out, traveling as soon as he can, and but the in-season recruiting is definitely different. When it officially starts, which is today. So it's really like a balancing act, working the phones a lot, doing more Zooms here and there. But FaceTime is undefeated, so not actual. The actual FaceTime is undefeated.
Right.
So he, they're not lacking for frequent flyer miles. So I think they'll keep piling those up as much as possible. But an exciting season because they have a real contender of a team this season.
No doubt about that. Really excited to see that team come together and on the floor. It features a really premier recruiting class, as we've discussed a lot. We've got Dariq Whitehead, who's going to be coming back from the foot injury that he suffered a few weeks ago, and then a couple of other awesome freshmen stepping up for the Duke basketball team moving forward. The class of 2024 seems to really be picking up some momentum and some steam for this Duke men's basketball program. A few weeks ago, it was kind of like a wide net cast out. It felt when we discussed on who some of those top recruits could be for the Blue Devils. But now it seems like they're honing in on a couple of different guys in the class of 2024. Is that just a product of wrapping up that 2023 class and TJ Power, or is this becoming the norm given where we're at in the calendar that they do become more focused on certain guys in that next recruiting class?
No, I think it's it's them locking in their 2023s for sure, and that definitely helps to be able to focus your attention and zero in on who exactly you want to grab in that 2024 class. And to your point, that is what they're doing right now. So I still think they're getting out to see some guy. Like this week, I think they'll be out to see Marquise Passmore down at Combine Academy, a great player who I've seen multiple times. Darren Harris, obviously people know about him, and a couple other guys. But yeah, I mean, it's a big benefit. It's a major benefit to be done with 23 and moving on. Most people are not done with 23. So that's going to definitely serve them well. And they already have a momentum, obviously, a momentum shift in recruiting, hauling in the #1 classes over the last 2 years. So it's definitely going to serve John Shire and his staff very well going
Well, let's
forward.
talk a little bit more about some of those guys that you just mentioned there in the class of 2024. We've spent a lot of time talking about Trenton Flowers, who's also
Mhm.
there at Combine Academy. So I want to start with his teammate, Marquise Passmore, someone who's going to Combine Academy for the first year. I'll throw in a little tidbit that he's transferring from AC Reynolds High School in Asheville,
Mhm.
North Carolina, which is where I went back in my high school days
Okay.
all these years ago. And played on the same basketball team that Rakis did. Obviously, he's many years younger than me, but tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about Rakis.
Well, Rakis, super athlete. You have to start there. Just dynamic athlete. I mean, he's probably the most athletic player in the 24 class. I mean, you look at his highlight. Go YouTube him right now. I mean, you're gonna jaw dropping athletic ability. Definitely has the high wire act. But when I saw him a couple weeks ago, I went down to Combine and for their the start of the what we call the open gym season, the NCAA recruiting period, which started on September 9th. I was talking to some of the coaches there. I was like, man, as much as we talk about his athletic ability, is he a better shooter? Like, I mean, he literally in 6 games, um, with their high level intensity. And again, you got to remember, Combine is flooded with D1s, high major D1, Silas Demery and uh, Trenton Flowers is on the team, and then they have like 4 or 5 other D1 kids. Um, but he probably shot 80% from three in six pickup games, heavily defended, I might add. So super efficient. Definitely improved. That's improved from the summer. I thought he was a pretty good shooter, but I saw him in the summer. Had a big summer on the with Garner Road and the Adidas 3 SSB, and one of the most grueling summer circuits out there in the country. So yeah, a guy whose stock is ascending and the offers, as you can see, are rolling in because of that. But he's about 6'5", probably has like a 45 plus inch vertical, which is
Yeah.
wild. And he's just tipping the point of ascending to his to where he could potentially go, and it's scary because he doesn't even know how good he can be, and he just has the mindset to work. And a year at Combine, where they'll play a national schedule, and he'll play with high majors every day, getting him better in school. So he's there in the gym at 11 o'clock at night most nights, putting up shots. He said he has to do 300 makes a day, and I can see that that's coming to fruition just on the court based off what I've seen. So high level guy who I'm very high on.
And high flyer is a great adjective, as we've talked about
Yeah.
with him, and a lot of folks talking about Cassius Stanley and the year that we saw with him at Duke and some of those high
Yeah.
flying dunks that he had. Pretty impressive stuff. And Rakis Passmore, someone who's been around the state, as we've said, for a few years. So it also appears he knows what Duke basketball is all
Yeah.
about. And I think for any player of his caliber to know that Duke could come calling
Yep.
has got to be a pretty special feeling.
Absolutely. And I mean, it should be noted that we did a story a couple weeks ago on him, and he did say that he really wanted Duke to get involved because he grew up a Duke fan, big fan of Duke, and he was like, I'm really hoping they get involved. So them coming out to see him potentially this week is a dream come true for him, full circle moment. So does that mean he's going there? I mean, they haven't even offered him yet, but I
Right.
think they're starting the initial process and kind of see. You obviously have to see where your roster will be in a year and stuff like that. So, but the fact that they're coming out there speaks volumes as to his potential.
Let's go ahead and talk about a couple of more class of 2024 guys in just a moment here on Locked On Blue Devils. Our show today is brought to you by LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Add the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you would like to interview and hire. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Welcome back in here to Locked On Blue Devils. JJ Jackson alongside my buddy Jason Jordan, the director of college basketball recruiting for Sports Illustrated. Let's talk about some of those 2024 guys as well that we've mentioned off the top. Trenton Flowers, another player from Combine Academy that we've been following for quite some time. We've talked about the fact that Duke is sort of a dream school, a team that he's loved watching over the years. What's his recruitment looking like? Is not only are we to the start of the college basketball season, Friday night high school football is going to come to a close at some point, which means high school hoops will start up soon too.
No, for sure. And so when they go see Rakista, they obviously go see Trenton
Right.
Flowers as well. But yeah, he's actually hurt right now. So he's had a foot injury that he's been nursing for over the last month, and he had during the summer, then he re-injured during the summer. So I don't know that he does workouts. So when I was there, he was still working out on the side, but he's probably not going to compete in the open runs. But yeah, just we talked about him, 6'7", dynamic ball handler, just all around 3-level scorer, but just a great playmaker, and get the ability to get downhill, get to the basket. But just I think where he thrives is in his playmaking ability. Obviously, super athletic, knows how to get to the rim, finish through contact, and finish over defenders. So he's definitely got the wow factor as well. But he's a guy that Duke has been in contact with for a while, and it'll be interesting to see how they move forward with those two guys for sure.
All right, so then we look at a couple of other names we've mentioned so far here today. Darren Harris in the class of 2024 has set up an official visit for Duke, and he is a PVI basketball player, the same school that obviously produced Trevor Keels and Jeremy Roach. Tell us a little bit about Darren Harris.
Yeah, well, talk about a pipeline, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
But 6'6" knockdown shooter. That's the first thing that comes to mind with him. He can get to the rim, he can get downhill, but where he's going to earn his minutes at the next level is his ability to knock down shots. This summer, he played with Team Takeover, which is notorious for running a great system, right? Keith Stevens is one of the best coaches on the circuit. And, in that system, you play a role. Well, his role was to be the sniper, and he played it quite well. So he had an amazing summer. Got the interest from Duke, and I think he is setting up a visit there coming up soon. I don't know that there's a date set, but I think he'll be on campus in the near future. But he's a guy that Duke fans will love because he's going to be a momentum shifter with his ability to stretch the defense and get into the lane and finish through contact. But again, he's going to stay on the court because of his ability to knock down shots, because he does it quite well. One of the best in the class. I would say, if not the best, one of the best, one of the top 3 shooters in that class.
And Duke's all about shooting. We love when we can get good shooters into the mix. And for the class of 2024, trying to find the first commit for the Duke men's basketball team. We saw in 2023 when TJ Power just committed, he's talking about all the other commits for Duke have already started reaching out to him and that sort of thing. I would imagine a priority right now for John Shire and his staff are to get that first commit in 2024 so that player can then help them in also trying to put together this recruiting class.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's always the goal, right? The earlier, the better. And so even more so with them, they're trying to capitalize off this momentum they have in the recruiting circle. And so, 2 back-to-back number 1 classes, I mean, it's an easy sell. So they're trying to, seize the moment and, to your point, grab that first commitment to kind of serve as the building block and the piece, the extended assistant coach, I like to call him. And that definitely helps. That definitely helps because all these guys are close.
Another player that's been on the Duke men's basketball radar as of late in that class of 2024, a top 10 recruit in Bryson Tucker, who's currently playing at IMG Academy. Tell me a little bit about Bryson Tucker, if you will, Jason.
Well, one of the best wings in the class for sure. Great size, 6'6". Gets downhill. All these guys have, you know, a comparable skill set, but I would like to say, but an elite athlete, can score on all three levels, but just a dynamic playmaker as well. He's one of those guys where when he's on the court, you just feel safer because he checks off so many boxes. Great rebounder. And at 6'6", he's really long, so he's guarding 1 through 4 and potentially 1 through 5 just because of his athletic ability and strength. So he's definitely a building block piece. One of the pieces you're talking about, anchor, and one that would attract more top players. I think just because of the different nuances in his game and his ability to impact the game on so many different levels.
The trend I've heard in all these 2024 recruits so far, Jason, has been their height. That's it. I mean, 6'6", 6'7",
Yeah.
6'8". It feels like we're talking about similar players almost.
Yeah.
And what's so interesting when you talk about the game of basketball these days, we talk about all of these bigs becoming way more skilled and the game just getting taller and taller. And you really could see it on the high school level. The more you look through the rankings, these are some big players that have skills that you would typically attribute to a lot of the smaller guards, say, a decade ago.
Yeah. I mean, the new wave is to just flood the court with playmakers. And if you can get a long, its length, its playmaking ability, and it's just, a guy who can get the rebound and go. And so you have to have length and size to match up with other teams. But when you're flooding the court with, Duke this season, just look at, Kyle Filipowski, he'll probably play the high post, and, the high-low game at Duke could potentially be better this year than it was last year. I mean, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
So, that's the recipe for winning. That's been the recipe for winning. If you look at the teams that have been successful over the last 3 to 5 years. And so I think they're just falling in line with that recipe. And they know that. They do that. I mean, if you look at who they're going after, to your point, they fit the bill. Like we're saying the same things about the recruits that they're going after now, and we have been for years. So it's a clear pattern.
When you talk about shifts in the game, and I know a lot of people love to have this conversation at the NBA level, in terms of the game's always changing, and there's the Steph Curry effect, obviously, with shooting becoming such a great emphasis and the impact that guy has left on the sport. How quickly do you see that trickle down to high school basketball, or has it always just kind of been its own thing? How much is it really influenced by the way the game is going, starting at the top level?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's always been that way. That it's even more so now. I mean, the influence of the pro game definitely has a trickle down, and so I mean, especially with the one and done. I mean, because those guys are pros. You know what I'm saying? Especially at the top with the Dukes and the guys who get the one and done players. But you look at the NBA. I mean, 4s and 5s are not what they used to be even 5 years ago. And the focal points of of being successful in the NBA are definitely centered around guys who do multiple things at multiple levels. And I mean, look at LeBron; he's 6'8". I mean, in college, would LeBron be a point forward? Maybe today,
Right.
but but the trickle down, like look at Jason Tatum. He was like he was a wing, but he played the 4 at Duke. But the freedom that to the point, the freedom that they allowed him was for him to, be positionless. And I hate to say that because it's become so cliche, but it's so true. at the same time, like that's the player that you go after, the positionless guy, because to your point, that's kind of the way it is in the NBA. And so that trickle down is definitely impacted in the college game and in high school.
Let's take our final time out here today on Locked On Blue Devils. On the other side of the break, we'll start to wrap up our conversation with my good pal Jason Jordan, the director of college basketball recruiting for Sports Illustrated. Make sure that you get more on the ACC by making Locked On ACC your second listen every day. Host Candace Cooper and the local experts of Locked On, like myself, take you across the conference in 30 minutes. 4 weeks have concluded in the college football season. We're a third of the way through the year, starting to get good points on what these ACC football teams look like. We're talking about it all on Locked On ACC. Make that your second listen here today on the Locked On College Network. Final few moments here on today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils. JJ Jackson alongside my buddy Jason Jordan, the director of college basketball recruiting for Sports Illustrated. What are some projects that you're working on right now, Jason? What's occupying your time?
Oh man, right now we're just getting ready for the season. We got talking to a bunch of 24 guys. So we'll be at the practices and some media days, and it's all preseason stuff at this point. But always all the time, SI.com college basketball. And as Jason Jordan SI right there, Jason C. Jordan on Instagram. And yeah, man, it's fun times, but it's draining, but it's a good draining.
It's picking up for everybody for
Yeah.
sure. And so I wanted to have a little bit of fun with you here and talk basketball to get us out. And obviously we're mentioning the start of the college basketball season today.
Yeah.
High school hoops right around the corner. It's also the start of the NBA season, as so many of these teams are going through the media day festivities and opening up their training camps and more. And I wanted to quickly go over this ESPN Top 100 rank for NBA guys going into this upcoming season. I'm not asking you to be Stephen A. Smith, Jason. We'll leave that for first take. But these Duke guys that are on the list: Jason Tatum, number 7, Brandon Ingram, number 29, Kyrie Irving, number 33, Zion Williamson, 40, RJ Barrett, 63, Paolo Banchero, 82, and then Seth Curry, the number 96 player going into the league. That's 7 Duke basketball players at the next level in the top 100, according to ESPN.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think they might. I think John might sell that. Let's just call it a hunch. Is that the most? I haven't even seen the list. Is that the most of any other college?
From what I've put together, I would assume. I think Kentucky is going to be in the mix, as they always are. But that, nonetheless, a really impressive list.
Yeah, I'll certainly ask the 24 class guys. Has John mentioned that he has 7 guys currently in the top 100 in the NBA? That's remarkable. But it's just a testament to their ability to land, the top guys. And obviously, it's no secret Duke gets the one and done talent. Kentucky gets the one and done talent. So it doesn't shock me that Kentucky's probably number 1 or 2. But yeah, it'll be very interesting going forward, just with the potential for the age limit to be in 24 potentially coming back or be done with. But yeah, that is a selling point. That is something that I'm certain I will hear in the next couple months.
Last year was the year of Jason Tatum with the Boston Celtics and the rise that he had. I mean, a first-team All-NBA player. Looking at those top guys, we're going to see a full year, hopefully, of Kyrie Irving back at it with what he can do. But if I were to pick one, Jason, I hope we can get back to another healthy, dominant season from Zion Williamson going into this upcoming season.
Well, you and everybody else, man. My man Zion, my former blogger. But he, that's the thing. I mean, he has to show and prove. Like, he has to show that he can stay healthy. And, we know that when he's on the court, great things happen. But if you're not on the court, it doesn't matter. So, he has to put together a season of where he's completely healthy. And, he can erase. Because the thing is, when he gets hurt, he opens himself up to all the criticisms that he's heard about for years about his weight and, things like that. So if he can, I think he has to, he needs a season of pristine health, no injuries, to kind of shut people up. And I think he could even, if that's the case, I think he could even rise higher on that list.
Let me help you out. I mean, this could be a
Yeah.
recruiting point for John Shire showing off the list. But you mentioned
Yeah.
your former bloggers because RJ Barrett
yeah.
is a top 100 guy too. This could be
Absolutely.
the Jason Jordan recruit.
telling
Like, don't you want to do a blog with me? You could be a top 100 player in the NBA.
I'm telling you, man. I say this all the time. My former blogger, if that was a team, I'm confident we win an NBA. I'm talking Trae Young, Jay Tatum, Zion Williamson. The list
RJ,
goes on.
yeah.
RJ Barrett. It's a lot of Duke guys, so don't get me started. But Ben Simmons, I could. If I start naming them, they're gonna be like, "Why didn't you say me?" But I'm confident we would sweep an NBA title.
That's
a fact.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Jason, thanks so much for the time today. As always, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
We'll be back next week with our good pal Jason Jordan from Sports Illustrated, the director of college basketball recruiting. Follow him on Twitter there at Jason Jordan SI. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for watching and supporting Locked On Blue Devils. Duke getting set for their first ACC football game at the end of the week, and tons of basketball content coming your way here on Locked On Blue Devils. That's going to do it for today's show. As always, go Duke. We'll talk to you tomorrow. My name is JJ Jackson. Thank you and good day.